Greetings, everyone. Rev.Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii, and we got a lot to talk about today. So I'll let Tina say hello first, and then we'll get into it right away.
Hi everybody, I'm Tina Barrett here in the UK in Southampton, and it's nice to meet you all. And hello to everyone in Hawaii and across the world who's watching this. Tommy.
All right, what I want to start with is I'm on the Big Island of Hawaii. People don't realize that there's a couple little islands together, uh, and the big one is called the Hawaii because it's the biggest island out of them all. But we're going to get into what we're seeing here in Hawaii, what we're seeing around the world. But I want to go into a few things. I just went outside to walk my dog, and I usually walk him an hour, but we tried to get the show done in time today. So I started turning around, and we're walking back, and it's drizzling, like real fine rain coming down. The sky's pure blue above me, except one chemtrail going across the whole sky. So I don't know what that means really. Chemtrails don't rain usually. They go into the rain, into the clouds and stuff, but there's no clouds there over me, anywhere close. So for it to be drizzling like that over me, my friend says, hurry up, get home. It's probably chemicals coming from the chemtrails. And I couldn't imagine. It felt wet, felt like rain, but it was little tiny, tiny particles of rain. So if it happens to you, anybody out there, let me know, because the sky is beautiful blue when it's drizzling over me. So that's just one little thing that just happened right now. But what I want to get into, we're going to get into today about the big UFOs being sighted around the world right now. Everybody knows June 2nd, June 1st, they're supposed to release all the government files in the United States. I don't know what they're going to release. I have no clue how far they're going to go with that. Probably not too far because they can't. If they do, they would lose all connections with the people in the United States if they did. So in the interim, I deal with so many people that like to tell stories and things like that, which is fine. But I debate them. I ask them to come on a show. I'll go on their show live or offline to debate their truth, their stories. Very few, nobody will take up the offer. I deal with one person online who actually will comment back to me. I give him credit. I mean, he thinks he's the smartest astrologer on the planet, but that's cool. At least he's willing to talk to me. And he'll admit something or say things when I'm right or he knows I'm right or something like that. Not like all these other people that are afraid to even reply. I just put this link up on Richard Dolan's show. I put it up on a couple other people's show. Third phase of moon. They're two guys, they're brothers out of Hawaii. They've been building themselves a name over the past couple years. They're having a lot of big people on, and they're doing a show when they did it last night. You can put it up online of the mothership they saw. Oh, I think it was over Italy or some other country, and they put it up. And he has all these coming on, and they're all going to talk about what they think it is and stuff. Now, all these people never were even close to a ship. So, when a person tries to describe a ship, it says what it is, and they don't even know what a ship even looks like at any level. It's like talking to a little child just coming out of kindergarten and say, hey, describe the inside of a mothership. Really? So, these people that are going, well, it could be this, it could be that, it could be, how about it's a mothership? I mean, whether you want to realize it, face it, or agree with the facts, that's your choice. I just got into a big debate with a person I know. Well, everybody has their truth. I said, everybody has their truth, but is it the truth? There's a big difference between the truth and make believe. And then I mentioned the word faith. I said, people have faith in a lot of things. Faith in our government, faith in God, I said, that's a faith. It's a belief in something that's not solid. Oh, yes, it is. No, belief in God's not solid. Belief in Jesus is not solid. Belief in Superman's not solid. So a belief is only a belief in something that you were either told or you accept as truth because you heard it, or you feel like it should be true. So when people say, well, this, that, and the other thing, well, I think it's this, who cares what people think? We're at a point in this time frame, we need truth. We need facts. We need what's really happening. And we're not going to get it from storytellers. Tina's not a storyteller. That's why she's on my show. I'm not a storyteller. That's why I do the show. We're not here promoting everybody's imaginary ideas, why the pyramids were built, where they came from, where we came from, why we this, why that. No, it doesn't matter. We're going through a serious time on our planet. This year will probably be the worst weather we ever had in the history of the planet Earth because of what's going on. We had the super big fires last year, all right, which is going to cause the destruction to the weather for the next 2 years. People don't understand how it works. All these people talk about global warming. Not one person mentions the real reasons why it's happening. And then we got people, I mentioned this last time. Mr. Musk comes out and says aliens aren't here. Who the freak is he? Who cares what he says or thinks? Does he believe in God? Does he believe in Superman? What's he believe in anyway? Nobody knows and nobody cares. For him to tell us that aliens aren't here just because he never had an experience? All right, I'll give it back to you, Tina. I'll let you.
Hi, Tommy. So, as Tommy said, actually, there's been a few things I'm going to point out tonight. Just I'll go over the last week's news, what we normally do, and pick out a few things. Well, here in the UK, it's the weather's picked up, so it's been quite phenomenal warm weather for us for this time of year, but it's only going to last a few days. So things are coming around full circle here in the UK. As you can see, sorry, my partner's coming from work. So the COVID restrictions are gradually being released. We can meet 6 people outdoors now. So that's a good thing. It's still 30 people to a funeral. You can have weddings, I believe, but again, I think that's limited to 30 people maximum, and that's it. But 12th of April is open day for non-essential shops, and zoos and things like that can open from the 12th of April. And you can have takeaways. You can go to a pub, but you can't eat or drink inside. It has to be outside. And it's not till June that all the restrictions are being lifted. Please excuse me. So in the UK, things seem to be looking up. Death rates are coming down. People that are being vaccinated is going up. So we're getting there, but slowly. In other news, I just had a reminder this week in my newsfeed that came up to said that former President Donald Trump has ordered the director of the National Intelligence Agency and UFOs and anonymous vehicles. They're expected to start a global debate around the world when all this information is released on June the 1st. It was put on top of a COVID bill, I believe. And it's coming out, but they're expected to have a global, either an assembly or a global debate about this. So we'll look forward to that. So whatever they're going to disclose is going to, it'll be a step forward, hopefully. Again, fireballs, the last 3-4 weeks, mainly in the northern hemisphere. I haven't checked on some in the southern hemisphere. Across the UK, mainly I think at first, and the States, have been fireballs, and there's a huge one seen, but it was a SpaceX booster, I believe, that broke apart and re-entered the atmosphere. I do apologise for my voice. That was on the 27th of March, and that was seen in Washington State in the USA. But we've had fireballs here in the UK as well. A bit of news, the first news as well. We have the second only ever to be observed in our lifetime that's known of, an interstellar object. So another interstellar object, it came to us, it's a comet from another solar system, from outside of our solar system. It's called 21/Borisov. It's the second interstellar object to come directly into our solar system, but it's not past another major star. So it's gas and things like that. It's pure. So scientists are looking at that at the moment. We have sad news today. SpaceX has had another failed landing and explosion. I'm not quite sure what happened today, but I think there's been their third attempt at a landing. Oh, hello. Is that Emma? I think Tommy's saying hello to you now. Or M. Also, on other news, Virgin Atlantic unveiled its Spaceship 3 today. So its space vessel to fly into space, to take people into space, was unveiled today. And you can check that on Microsoft News. And it was on the Daily Express News. So if you go to Daily Express on Microsoft News, you'll be able to take a look at Virgin Galactic's new Spaceship 3. as well, we didn't get much news unless you're actually your fingers on the pulse and you're looking at the news every day. It's hard to miss things, but things really haven't hit the headlines here from the States recently. It's a lot of it's been or either withheld or it's not making it across the pond, so to speak. But recently, I turned on the TV here in the UK to watch the BBC 9 o'clock news, and it's now BBC America 9 o'clock news here in the UK for an hour, and then we get our news now at 10. So for some reason, we're getting the English news from America now. I'm not sure how that's working or what agreements England has made with America for that to happen. But hundreds of people, apparently it flooded Twitter. So you can go back, if you're on Twitter, go back on your Twitter feed. It's on the 1st of March. You're talking 30 days ago now, 29 days ago. That over Las Vegas was a huge mothership. A UFO was spotted at 7:30 p.m. local time. And that's on the Daily Star. So go back and check Twitter. It was seen with 5 other orbs. So it wasn't one object on its own. It was a huge mothership seen, filmed from different locations around Las Vegas, from hotels, from the floor, from other view and vantage points was seen. And so it flooded Twitter. So there's pictures and videos from the 1st of March that there was a mothership over Las Vegas. It was there for quite a while, apparently. But like Tommy said, so one has been seen in America now. They've had quite a few sightings in the UK, believe it or not, and that's actually being reported more and more and more. And people are uploading now their footage and still pictures to YouTube. So if it's not coming onto mainstream news, just check out Microsoft News or just go to YouTube and just check out the daily news. But it was seen, there was one on the 13th of March, we're going back now, over Newcastle, and that's on YouTube, and that's in the daytime. So it wasn't in the evening or late night, it was in the daytime, spotted on camera on CCTV, and they uploaded that. Now, what was interesting, aviation and wildlife videos. So someone, I'm not sure if it's from the animal traps they put up to view animals in the nights and in woodlands, or it was on the end of an airport, or someone's garden had a nature CCTV camera up in their garden, and it was seen, a UFO was seen in Cambridge on the 4th of March at 4:42 a.m. in the morning, and was caught on one of these devices. So that's also been uploaded to YouTube now, so you can go and watch that. That's on aviation/wildlife videos on YouTube. And so also this week, and it has been this week in Port Talbot in England, that's in Wales, in the UK, at Port Talbot in March, there was at least three of those UFOs spotted and caught on CCTV, and the wind farms up there, the huge giant windmills, the big white windmills, the wind farms up there are right up high up on the mountains at People's Way. They were spotted by a walker and caught on CCTV. I'm not sure if it's a security surveillance for the wind farm, but it was definitely caught by a walker climbing up one of the hills or mountains up there. At least three of those were spotted during the daytime at Port Talbot, and that's also on CCTV. And again, you can view that footage on YouTube. So yeah, if we'll go back to Tommy now, but keep posting. Just keep posting if you're seeing things. Sightings are now becoming daily. The incursions are becoming, that are seen, but not just us in the UK, in Wales and other parts of the world, are now being uploaded, and there's footage out there from hundreds of different people and all walks of life. So keep an eye out for that. Tommy.
All right. I'm going to go back to what she just mentioned about Mr. Trump. All right. I mentioned this a couple times, and I know people don't listen. All right. About 4 or 5 months before Trump was elected, Putin went on Russian TV live and said he wanted Trump to tell the truth about 9/11, and he wanted Trump to tell the truth about aliens. All right. So that nobody knows what that went down, or how it went down or anything. But here's what happened. Later on, when Mr. President Trump was talking to Putin, they had that closed door meeting. All right. We don't know what was said in there. The next day, Trump comes out and says, "I'm creating a space army." All right. He didn't create a space army. He just renamed it. It was here for a long time. It's always been there. He didn't create anything. If he wanted to be a good person to the UFO people, he could have came out and forced what they're going to do on June 1st then, instead of doing it after he's out of office. All right. If he wanted to be more popular among the UFO people. So, I mean, he's trying to get credit now for things that might help him in the future. But seriously, it's coming out, and everybody's going to debate whatever information they release, obviously. But they're not going to release all the truth. They can't. So people, if you expect to hear that they allowed the aliens to abduct people and all these other things, you're not going to hear that part of it. You're not going to say how much they really did work with the alien races. No, I'm going to say
I think it's just going to be the national intelligence on anomalous vehicles, as I believe that's who
that's critical because
ordered to release.
The United States has a bunch of vehicles they reversed engineered and actually use them now. And 2 of them were done many years ago, the Delphi and the Aurora. So here's the thing. All right. When this happens on June 1st, whatever they release is going to go up in the UFO world. It's the biggest thing, disclosure and all that kind of stuff. Anything you're going to hear is already known. They're only promoting Tic Tacs right now. You'd think they could come out and say there's a real ship above us, and it's not a Tic Tac.
Hold on, Tommy, look at this. I got a picture of a Tic Tac last night. There you go, on my phone. It was huge. It looked like that. So that's blown up. If you go onto Tina Bird on Facebook, ET Gals, just put in Tina Bird, go onto my page, and you'll see that's an actual Tic Tac. And I took pictures last night on my camera. There's another one. It was traveling through the sky.
We don't have to use their programmed words, Tic Tac. Say it's a ship, a light ship, or something cool that we use, not their imaginary Tic Tac.
It must have been huge for me to see it in the sky, and I took a picture on my phone. That's taken on my phone.
Right. So again, people, we're trying to get away from the storytellers and the make-believe things going on. All right. This whole idea about what's going to happen with this disclosure, nothing you expect is going to come out of it. Nothing good is going to come out of it. I mean, even if the government says they redesign ships and everything else, it's not going to be important to other people that want to see aliens and everything else. Now, I'm going to say this. This is from what I perceive. The United States is more advanced with alien technology than any other country. Russia is trying to keep up with us. All right. And we are friends with them at certain levels with the whole UFO program. When Putin said that the aliens are here, two alien races are trying to destroy the planet, they are. And Mr. Putin had to work with the United States to fight with them because we're the ones that stopped the ship from attacking the United States or the world, however you want to word it. So there's a lot going on that way. Trump's trying to get into the middle of that and get his credit for being involved with that. But the case is, no, it's not. The secret government, Majestic 12 or 32, however you want to call them right now, are the ones that are responsible for everything that's happening within that and everything that we don't know about it. All right. Now, people say, well, I'll tell you this. And since 95, we lectured around a person who I'm no longer friends with. We had a slight disagreement on everything. But we lectured for the United States, inside the United States. And during that time frame, cool UFO people, but the coolest ones were all dead and killed and gone. We have a lot of the people out there, like Travis Walton, and the people that have a story, but don't even know what happened. Tina knows much more than Travis Walton does about being abducted. Travis Walton is taking his to a different level. He's a healer, and he's got this hand. He goes around healing people. He does different things. Tina's just telling the truth. Her book should be out next year, right, Tina?
I'm hoping. Now, on that note, Tommy, I'm hoping. So I'm getting there. I'm hoping to have it out before the end of this year. So if I get some more time in the year, it will be out before the end of this year. I'll have drawings and things like that. But I've decided during the lockdown here that I'm going to have hypnotic regression. It's going to be filmed. There'll be quite a few people in the room. But what I've decided is that I'll have somebody there with me, maybe 1 or 2 people from my family. And they're going to have my investigator will be there, the hypnotherapist will be there. There'll be a few other, and it's going to be recorded. But I'm only going to look back at the last 2 things, the newest 2 things, One was to do with my left eye. When I woke up one night, there was numbers there, and the second one is the night an abduction night. So they're the two things I'm looking at first. They're going to visit them first. And once they're done that, that's as far as I'm going for the first session. I don't, because I want to see if I like it, how I cope with it, what memories it brings up. I don't want it to, if I freak out, I may not, I might, I want to know more information about what happened that night for me. So,
what I want to say about that, it's going to probably take 2 or 3 sessions to get to a point where he could get to make you answer the questions and a lot of different things. Because he's going to have to get you to the point to relax, to get hypnotized, to be trusting and open yourself up to that. It doesn't happen overnight unless you plan on doing it all day. All right. How long you want to do it. So it's going to be critical. I'm so glad you're doing it. And I'm glad you're going to have a lot of people in the room while you're doing it, because that's the safest way to do it. And make sure, like I said, make sure he creates a safe place, because he could always bring you out within a split second. Without that, you could get pulled in deeper into things you might not want to experience at that moment. Yeah. So he has to be on top of that. I say I wish it was a little more spiritual. It's hard to find anybody spiritual enough to be aware of a lot of other things. Because right now, which I wanted to get into later about what's happening on the planet with entities and creatures right now, and it's not just aliens for a word, but when do you have a date set up for this already, or you just
because we're still under COVID restrictions? I've messaged the hypnotherapist who my investigator works with, and I investigated my messaged my investigator. So as soon as they both get back to me, they're going to because we can't book nothing obviously until the COVID restrictions lift, which is June. So you can't do nothing until June anyway.
Here's a question. Do you have an idea on money-wise? Is he going to charge you or not?
No. Oh, no, they don't know. The hypnotherapist works with my investigator.
Okay.
They don't charge me.
That's cool, because I was going to say we'll have to raise some money to get you some money, but no, that's cool.
They're having my story. They're having it for nothing. They have it for free for my case file, and they talk about it.
People that do that, especially when they don't get paid by you, is a really good thing. It shows where they're coming from. I mean, most hypnotists want money no matter what the story is and everything else. So I'll be looking forward to that. I wish I could be there. I really do. But no, that's a really good piece of information coming out. And I'm telling everybody out there, get ready for some real top line information, because
I am scared. Yeah, I'm scared about having it done. I'll probably freak out. I'll never have it done.
Tina's much more aware of what really went down and everything else as well. So it should be a really important thing in the UFO world.
It's terrifying.
What I wanted to get into, like I just started to mention, if you're watching all these shows on TV now, on the History Channel, Learning Channel, and everything else, Discovery Channel, of all these films of different kind of entities and creatures, not ghosts, not just spirits, but creatures, deformed creatures or whatever they are, coming out and being filmed. So somebody mentioned what happened, and I'm going to tell everybody, pull up CERN, CERN. I only found this out a couple of days ago. They did a different dimension, and they did pull stuff out of it. So that means they're bringing all this negative things, or whatever you want to call them, into this reality. So it's not doing what they wanted to do. They just wanted to create a black hole and go into it. They created these suits to go walking through it and think it's just going to be like a doorway into, let's go take an explore. They didn't realize when you open a door, like what happened after the Philadelphia experiment, and all these different entities and things are allowed to come into our dimension now. So we're screwing up a lot of things in a lot of different ways really fast. And it's not going to get better, because first off, I mean, preachers and all these other people that try to get rid of demons by saying...
did you find out, sorry to interrupt you, did you find out, is it Eldridge? I know they have the USS Eldridge.
Yeah, what about the Eldridge?
Is it being filmed 24 hours? Is it being monitored? Because if something has gone into time or a different dimension or a different function, not in where it's supposed to be, or when it reappeared, Now, is that being monitored 24/7 in case somebody
No,
does
but
catch up to it?
if there was anything ever filmed of that, it's locked on the key, and that could be something they might want to release.
Yeah, but I would have thought for security reasons or for the national
Realize that
security
was
reasons.
1947.
Yes,
We
so,
didn't have.
but what have they melted it down? Have they chopped it up? What's happened to it?
Oh, I don't know what they did with the ship, but basically what happened then, all right, when that ship got welded with people inside and all those other
Yeah.
things that happened, obviously that went into, they probably took it all apart. Who knows what they did with it? Maybe they rebuilt it and shipped it back out. Nobody knows because they didn't come out and actually say that that was a real story. I mean, they put a movie out and they put stories out. I knew the one person that was the only person that actually came back in time from
Yeah,
that.
there was a lot of talk about the Eldridge, so I just wondered.
When the Montauk Project was created, the other one that actually died too, Preston Nichols, he was involved with it. He wasn't on the ship, so his knowledge was limited. He claimed a lot of things. The aliens were dropping cows on his property and all kinds of stuff. But he went into some kind of energy machines later on in his life, and he lost a lot of weight, and then he died. But when I saw him while he was lecturing, he would eat a whole pizza. No lie. In the middle of our workshop, he'd be eating pizza, and he'd eat half a pizza while he's talking. So it was a trip. I never really liked him because of that. I said, you're doing a conference. Talk to us. Don't sit there eating and filling your gut, whatever.
I'm drinking tea. I'm drinking tea.
No, that's fine. But you're talking about coming down a piece of pizza while you're talking. That's pretty hard. A sip is for your throat, but not other. So here's the thing. We got so much happening right now with different timelines and events and belief systems. You're going to have to rely on what you truly feel inside yourself now, not what other people say. I don't care if you believe me or not, but you need to believe yourself, and you need to believe what you assume is true is true. Otherwise, it's useless. You could believe a lot of things. If you can't prove it to yourself, it is all useless. I mean, even the idea of Jesus and Moses and all these other people that lived in history, if you're putting your faith in that, do you know anything about it? I do. I was there, so I have my faith and truth within that. But it's not going to help anybody else because people don't want to know what Jesus was teaching. I mean, people don't want the real truth. They already have this programmed belief system, which I'm saying is a belief in something that's not provable. When it's truth, it's no longer a belief system.
I'll tell you what I would like, because your Tommy is more what I call spiritual. Yeah, I've had near-death experiences, like having problems coming around from surgery and them reviving me, what have you. But I think Tommy's more spiritual. But I believe there is I think there's a human body, the spirit, and the soul. The soul is what we talk about. But I wanted to hear, perhaps Tommy, because I'll bow down to Tommy on that, as you all know, is I would like to speak to someone about the soul. Could you get more than one? I'm not talking about schizophrenia now. Could you get more than one soul accidentally put or in a body? And has anyone had an experience of it being, or a soul being taken out of them? I know we can leave our bodies.
Let
me
explain this to you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And this is fact. I don't care. You can get anybody else to say whatever they want, but I'm going to give you the actual.
Good.
Decide for yourself if you want to believe it or not. All right. Possession is when another soul goes inside a person. When that happens, their soul has to stay kind of on the outside. It's not far away, but it's right there, but it's not in control of the body anymore. So when two souls try to step in the body, it's not like they're both doing this, that, and the other thing. I mean, even if you watch the movies, they got to get the demon out so that person can talk and all the other things. But soul can't occupy two bodies. I mean, two souls can't occupy one body. One soul could occupy two bodies. Did I say that right? I hope so. But the problem is exorcisms and possession. I did all that, and I understand how it works and what's going on. And this is why I said you got to be careful. When you hypnotize a person, if I was hypnotizing you right now, I'd put my protection around me and you. But see what happens, depending on how spiritual that person is, realize when I hypnotize you, I hypnotize all the entities around you. If there's aliens around you right now, or if there's demons, creatures around him as well, they all get hypnotized. So when people start talking, it doesn't have to be just you, because these entities will jump in and talk because they're free to talk now. And is for this guy, unless he's really on top of it, really doesn't know the difference. Well, I was this, I was that, because you could get an alien saying whatever they want you to believe, or what they want. So protection is really critical, protecting you from anything outside of yourself. So, but getting back to the soul's here by itself, and it leaves by itself. It doesn't need anything else. It doesn't need anybody, friends, family, love. It doesn't need any of that. I mean, it uses it while it's here in this body. But when soul leaves, that's when I say it starts becoming spiritual. Living here, you can't do anything spiritual. We don't. I mean, the human body is disgusting. To say the body's spiritual, it's not. And Jesus said it's not what goes into the body, it's what comes out of it. And nothing good comes out of our body. So that's how disgusting we are. So getting back to being spiritual, when you get into the astral plane, where all soul goes that leaves this reality to go through its karma, forget where it's going to go, whether it stays there or comes back, all that happens within that time frame. But you can stay on the astral plane for up to 10 years of our time and then reincarnate. Because you'll hear families say, well, Mom, that my son acts like my grandfather and things like that. That's possible, and that does happen. But usually a soul's karma, unless it's pure, really has no decision where they're going to go when they come back. And if you look at it factual, 90% of the planet's starving, homeless, poor, and things. If you're coming back, you wouldn't want to step back into that. You'd want to be in a nice house, nice family, rich, and everything else. And we assume that based on like Trump and all these other people, when they go into their astral body and they get judged and what's going to happen to them, it's not going to be anything they want. And I'm not saying this because I'm a religious person. I don't consider myself a religious person. Jesus was a real person. He wasn't God. But he did say this many times, and I repeat it all the time. It's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to go into heaven. And that's for a lot of reasons. And number one reason is compassion, feelings, emotions. Rich people don't have them. They block all that out because the only focus point on their life is money and fame and fortune and power. It eliminates poor people, starving people, children, and all those other little words that are much more important than his money. And people that have all that money here sitting there doing nothing when it could be helping starving children, families, it could be helping the reality of our planet. No, Mr. Musk wants to be, Gates wants to be the richest person on the planet. Yeah, he's a big fool. Now Musk is coming out saying ridiculous things, super rich. And what's he doing? Well, I'm going to make the world better. He thinks by eliminating Gates, let's start with him, eliminating farms so we can't produce cows and forcing synthetic meat on people, it'll change the environment. Because they still blame cows for farting, which destroys the ozone layer, and they claim all these things. Science came out and said antifreeze destroyed our ozone layer. Nobody talks. I'm not saying alien ships.
Cows didn't put plastic in the water, did they? Jeez.
Well, but here's one thing. Alien ships travel different than our ships. When our ship goes through the sky, in through the ozone layer and through it, it burns holes in it. And that's how we destroy it. Not because somebody has antifreeze in their car. I mean, and now Mr. Musk is going to put, 26,000 ships up in space? I mean, that is destroying the ozone layer that we have left.
Tommy, I don't know if you're aware, if you know, or if you see it on your feed, but you've been glitching quite a lot. And then when your picture freezes and I can hear you talking, and then it pops back to you. But that's happened quite a few times tonight. So look over the footage.
Oh, no, I know that. I can't. I've been fighting for 2 years on that already. They can't.
Seems to be you're glitching more and it's pausing more.
Well, it's usually every 5 minutes. But what I'm going to do, starting next week, I'll switch over to my laptop. My laptop doesn't do it. I can't find out what's wrong with my computer. My computer is like up top line, but I can't fix that problem. So my laptop doesn't do it. But I got my good camera, my good microphone on this. I'd have to switch it over to the laptop. but I will do that. I've been playing with it recently. So yeah, I hate the glitch. I canceled and I said, look, I'm not going to do the show. And then I said, well, I missed my show, so I came back. No, I know it's happening. I'm sorry, people.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
no.
I try to stop talking when I see my picture frozen. My picture's completely frozen here, so I try to stop until I see it come back on. So that's why it's a glitch. But I try to avoid saying things that you might. I don't know if you can hear it or not when that glitch is on. That's why I just said I don't say anything.
Sometimes you freeze and nothing comes out, and other times your picture freezes and I can hear you talking.
Well, see, I try not to say anything when it's frozen. I wait a couple of seconds. It's only 3 or 4 seconds, but still, it's a glitch. But outside of that, we have so many things happening right now. And we talk about peace. We talk about all these things. Do we realize the Republicans and the Democrats are fighting tooth and nail right now? Inside the United States, two separate entities are fighting hardcore. What is this calling? I missed it, but whatever. So, what are we going to do about this? We got to do something important. We got to realize it's time people do something, not sit there and say, "Well, I can't do nothing." We can vote. We can stand in front of the White House. We can boycott. We can, right? See, a petition is only important unless we get a large number of people to follow through with the petition. Writing a letter to somebody, they read it, okay, oh, I read it. Standing in front of the White House where the world will see it becomes an issue. Look at what happened at the Capitol. I mean, the whole world knows that happened. If the same amount of people go there and say, we want peace, we want a unity within our own system, meaning the Republicans and the Democrats have to agree on life and what's beneficial to the human race.
When people do that, we've had protests here in the UK recently. It's beyond me. There's a world pandemic. So one, I don't think huge groups of people coming together, everyone has the right to protest. I'm not denying that in any way. But peaceful protests. Why do people who want to protest insist on going and burning their own neighbourhood where they live? People have to live there and try and shop there. They're breaking and loot these shops where normal people, local people who live there, can't go the next day and buy bread and milk or nappies for their children or baby formula. What is wrong with people? Stop hurting your local environment where you live.
No, here's something really important. I don't know what the laws are today, right this second. I marched on a UN in New York City many years ago. We had 2,000 people. We had to go to the town and file a petition, a paper, and say we're going to do a protest. Yeah, and they said, okay. And they made sure not one of us had any kind of weapons of paper, wood and steel, any kind of objects on us. And we walked for a couple miles to get to the UN. We walked down from the village all the way up to the UN. But here's the
same in the UK.
But they had a cop on every corner all the way to the UN. But when we got to the UN, they surrounded the whole block arm to arm with FEMA people with machine guns and rifles. So what happened here, and they allowed it to happen, is completely against what's supposed to happen. It should have never happened. Trump had to give the okay for nobody to they must have said stand down.
Well, in the UK, it's been quite serious, actually, but it's interesting. They've just changed security laws and protocols in the UK. It comes under like the Emergency and COVID Act, but they're passing it under security rules. So you can protest, but it is against the law to protest. You're supposed to like give a day, a time when you start, when you stop, what route you're taking, like they do in the US. But they want to formalize it more and completely overhaul and change it. I can understand why, but well, my point is that's fine. If anyone wants to do that, I'm not going to stand in anybody's way. But why burn people's houses and attack people on the way? I don't understand that. That if you go to somewhere and burn something down or kill somebody, that is an act of terrorism. That is not standing up for your community. People need to rethink what exactly they're doing.
That's a terrorist act.
Yeah.
We did the whole protest all day. Not one bad thing happened. A couple people on the streets were throwing a couple things at us and things like that, but nobody got hurt, nothing like that.
I saw protests in America. I'm not sure what city it was, but this pure girl, I'm not sure if it was about someone had been killed or it was about it was a protest or something had happened, and she's going, look, I'm from the black community. You people from my area have gone there, broken into stores, burned it down. This woman couldn't buy baby formula. She couldn't buy nappies in her own area. Instead of going out there and protesting where it counts, they've burnt and rioted and looted it in their own area. All the local people there couldn't go and buy supplies. So all these like women and children there and elderly people couldn't even go out in their own neighbourhoods. They made lives even harder for them. I don't understand what's wrong with these people.
That's where something's wrong. The government should have stepped in. You don't allow a state governor to say, "Well, we don't want to start a riot with the black people. We don't want to start a riot with the native
it's
people."
the poor people. It's no matter what country you're in or what race you are. It's always the poor people that suffer.
Oh, right. My friend lives in California. The whole town was destroyed. Every store was broken into, burnt, and destroyed.
Well, where do the local people go for food and shopping and things like that? And where do the elderly go to buy supplies? People don't think.
It's what happens when bad people become empowered. All right. If I'm like Trump, when he empowered these people to attack the UN or the Capitol, whatever he's going to do next, I mean, he's empowering them, giving him his support to do something really negative.
Anybody in any country, no.
Anybody going against the president right now is considered a terrorist. In my book, if somebody says, I'm going to start a riot in front of, that's a terrorist action.
See, protest and rioting are two different things. Everybody has everybody has the right to protest and stand up for each other or somebody else who can't stand up for themselves. I understand that, and everybody should do what is right, yes. What I don't agree with is what people are now calling protesting, which is rioting, and it's the local people in that area that are suffering, and they're suffering in a pandemic when supplies are short enough as it is.
Let me explain this real fast. I know your time's running out. I don't know how much longer you're going to say, but let me say this real fast. When we marched on the UN, it was because they had Leonard Peltier, the head of the Native American movement, in jail with no proof of anything he did. So we marched on the UN, and they surrounded us with FEMA people, machine guns. The next day, all the FEMA people marched on the White House, and they all stood there saying, if you let Leonard Peltier out of jail, we will all quit. Nobody was surrounding them, though, and they were allowed to be forming this giant group of people protesting what we just did the day before. So obviously nothing ever happened. And I've been begging Trump to give him a pardon. I said, you give him all these other people a pardon. He was never convicted. He's in jail for 39 years already with no proof. They had no proof against him. He wrote his book in jail, his life, Sundance in jail. But sadly, when that whole story went down, 2 FBI agents were killed after they killed 2 Native people on Native land where the FBI wasn't allowed to be. And Leonard Peltier was arrested because he was in charge of all the Native people. So the story is really sick. But I don't even get into that. I did a show. Let me say this. I did a show a couple days ago. It was about prejudice. Everybody that pulls up my YouTube, pull it up. It's on there. It's a very important video about the word prejudice. I
just think there's good and bad people, no matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what race you are. It is about good and bad people, and like I'm going to say it again. Everyone has the right to protest. That is not the issue. It's when these rioters riot in a local area, and elderly people, mothers who can't buy nappies and formula, no matter what race you are, what country you're in. It's those you've got to think about the poor people you're doing this to. You're not doing it to the people that matters to you. You're not doing it to like councillors and people in senates and people in parliament. You're doing this in your local area. You got to pay for this for your council tax, for your local taxes. It's your local community that's suffering. So no matter what area you're in or what part of the world, please don't do things like that. You got to think of the people that you live with around you. But without further ado, Tommy, I've had enough preaching. I shouldn't really do it, but to see going back and looking at these poor people who can't buy nappies in their own area or
I don't know how much time you have. Do you want to promote?
I've got 5-10 minutes. Do you want to get your Geiger counter out?
It's right somewhere. Yep, I'll get it.
So go get your counter. I'll tell everyone about this. So each week, me and Tommy get our Geiger counters out. This is just one. We both bought this on Amazon, so you can go onto Amazon. It's a Geiger counter. That's it there. That's the number. So it's just an on and off button, a light switch, and a hold sleep button. So, okay, we're going to turn it on by pushing the red button there. So the top one there is volts per meter. and the bottom one is micro Teslas. So that's electrical magnetic field is the top one, and the bottom one is radiation micro Teslas. Now, if you hold it towards electrical equipment, it's supposed to go off, but I've got a smart screen computer, so it doesn't give off any bad mojos or nothing that can hurt me. It's not giving off radiation. However, Tommy's is, you can see these glasses.
I got to blink in my glasses because when I turn it the other way, it changes.
Yeah, so that's his magnetic field. So at the top is the electrical magnetic field. Now I'm going to hold it to me. Mine's saying nothing at the moment. Yours will flash because your TV's giving off electrical magnetic field. So what I'm going to do is hold this to parts of my body and see if it goes off. If it's in a human body, that's come closer, Tommy.
You can't see it at all.
Oh. So yes, I can't stop that. You can say Tommy's electrical magnetical field as he holds it to the TV is 62, 57 to 62. So mine isn't going off because I've got a smart TV and Tommy hasn't. He's just got a really good computer. Now, I'm going to hold it to my body.
Well, last week mine was staying at 147.
So mine's on 0. So we're going to give mine a go now. I'm going to hold it to my body and we're going to give it a go. So last week or the week before, it was going off. Can't see that. Oh, yeah, there you go. So at the bottom, I'm giving off radiation. Can you see that? That's
everybody can see that, right?
So 0.9 micro Teslas. It's going up now, 15, 10, 15. So I'm going to go back a bit. Let's see where it's. So it's there, 10, 11 at the back of the head, 15 there at the back, 22, 28 at the back of my head there. Can you see that?
That's not normal. It's not safe, and it's not a good thing.
That flashing is to say that that's a dangerous level.
People, that's showing you something that's not a common issue. Scientists can't say a word about it because they don't know why. Because radiation can't come and go. My brother's a chemist, and he goes, "Oh, she must be moving on a train." I said, "She's sitting in her room. She's not moving. The Earth's moving."
At my desk, at my computer desk. So if I sit back a bit, you can see the numbers better, I think. Can you see numbers better
there? Is it 0 on the bottom now? Or is it?
No, it's going up. It's flashing, and it's 0.5.
Oh, okay. I can see it now. Yeah.
Radiation. So that's micro Teslas.
Yep.
And the red is the alarm to say it shouldn't be going off its dangerous levels.
So anybody that's watching this show, talk to anybody that has a brain that you think is a scientist or a nuclear physicist or whatever. Ask them if radiation can come and go.
So from the top of my head, it's reading 0. It's reading nothing. So from this side, nothing, nothing, and nothing. Oh, there.
There's something.
There.
See, that's not normal. It's not a normal what do you call it? Way that this little machine
shouldn't have any reading whatsoever. So we get the reading here, but it's actually going off the back of my head there. So there you go.
I never got a radiation reading ever.
So there's the radiation reading at the bottom there.
I don't need my microwave. I do.
My microwave's off and this is the kitchen. So Emma's just left us. Emma's had to leave us. But while we're here, I'm just going to mention my books quickly. So if anyone has an explanation as to why the Geiger counter goes off when it's on the back of my head.
Mine's 180 on the top when I put it next to the computer screen.
Yeah, so on the top again is the top is volts per meter, electrical magnetic field, and the bottom is micro Teslas. Okay. So while we're here this week, just to plug one of my books. This is not about. This is called The Guardians, the Light, and the Brotherhood of the Night. There it is, book by me. You can buy that on Amazon and Kindle. And this is my other one, so you can buy this on Amazon. It's called The Checkpoint. It's by me. There you go. And there is a back picture of me and my IBSN number. So if you go onto Amazon, you can buy this on Amazon. It's available on download. You can get it on Kindle, Amazon Kindle. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can get this book for free. So you don't have to buy it. You can get it for free on Kindle Unlimited, or you can go onto Kindle and have a look at a couple of pages. You can buy it and download it on Kindle, and on download, you can get it on download, and you can also get it in book form, and that's through Amazon as well. So keep a lookout, buy the book. That's me, Tina Bird, and I should hopefully be releasing my UFO book later in the year. I am going to wait till I'm hypnotized to try and finish up my book, but later in the year. But from me, it's been a pleasure. Sorry I'm early. By the way, I'm just going to just say why it's early. We probably missed a few people. I got a bit confused about the timings. I probably woke Tommy up. Here in the UK, it was like 5 o'clock in the evening, but it was 6 o'clock. Greenwich Mean Time happened for us on Sunday the 28th. Was clocks go forward. It's British summertime begins. So what it means is summertime on the 28th at 2 o'clock in the morning, all the clocks in the UK go forward 1 hour, which threw me off. So later in the year, back in next, I think it's in October next, they go back. So it's Greenwich Mean Time, and we have different times. So the timing today is early, probably in the States. I know it's early, and I do apologise, and I'll try and compensate next week to be on time rather than early. So I do apologise for that. But from me here in the UK, if you have any questions, please email Tommy or me, message us. Come onto the show. If you have a question you'd like to ask me or Tommy, please do so. Or if you have a reply to one of our questions, please come on the show and let us know. Or if you've seen something and like to report it, would like help, please message me or Tommy again. But I've been E.T. Gal here in the UK, broadcasting to you guys in Hawaii and across the States. Tommy, thank you ever so much for being my co-host again this week. And is there anything you'd like to say before I go? Any questions?
No, just thank you so much for being here, Tina. It's always a pleasure. Looking forward to next week always. Anytime you want to do another show, please we can set it up anytime. Anything
I'm
you want
back to work now. This week I'm back to work full time, and next week, so I'm back to work because we're getting ready for opening up. But from me here in the UK, it's been great seeing you, Tommy, and I'll see you next week. Thank you very much. Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. Tina Bird, a good friend of mine now. We've been doing the show for a while. All right. I'm surprised because she doesn't really like to talk about spiritual stuff too much and get into it too heavy, which I do, which is when I do any other show, usually it's that. But I did a show a couple days ago. I want everybody that sees this, hears this, to go onto YouTube and pull it up. It's about prejudice. And it's not a black and white issue. And I go into every aspect of it. You really need to listen to that to be aware of what's really happening to the world, to life, to everything going on, including aliens as well. So I go into every aspect of it. Please watch it. It's about an hour and 20 minutes or so. But I got into it, and I feel it's probably one of the most important issues because it is the most important issue in the United States right now. And they're dealing with it the wrong way. So please tune in, sign up on YouTube, become a friend, and friend me, and you'll get the links to the shows when I do the show as well. And the second thing I'm asking everybody, please send this link to everybody you know. Put it out there on everybody you can. If you even feel okay about what I said, put it on your show, your site, whatever you do, promote it. I'm not doing this for money. Tina's not doing it for money. And she put a book out to get her truth out. I mean, it will be out soon. But for me personally, this is only about getting to the truth. I've been in this all my life. I've been in this since I was 6 years old. Not that I wanted to be. This was not a thing I said, oh, I want to see UFO. No, none of it was I want to. It was I was forced into it. So people, and all these people that are talking about it, oh, I want to be on a ship. I want to go somewhere. My best friend just texted me and says he knows the motherships that are here right now. Okay, I can't prove it either way. What he says, I mean, hopefully I'll talk to him and see what he says they're here for, what they're doing, flying around the planet right now. Are they trying to scare us and trying to make friends with us? What are they trying to do? That particular race that's in the mothership here right now. All right, getting back to the point, my friends here that saw it, I've been working so hard to get a bike, to build it so I can go down the cliffs with all my camera stands, my cameras and everything, and go down there at nighttime. I got tons of lights on my bike and everything as well. Carry all kinds of weapons on it because it's a danger zone, and I'm in the ghettos of Hawaii, and there is one. So here's the thing. Everybody that I talk to has a story, but 1 out of 10 has a story about a UFO or an alien. And that's mind-boggling. I mean, sure, Hawaii is the highest in the United States. But marijuana people usually don't get that creative unless they're doing hardcore LSD or some other hard drugs. But I'm talking about the poor people, the homeless people, the ones that live on the beach, that see these ships going in the ocean and everything else. It's really an incredible situation right now. Uh, where it's going to go, Trump's trying to get involved with it, trying to promote his ideas of what's going to happen and debate. There's nothing to debate. We can't debate an alien until they come here and say, okay, let's have a debate. And then you're going to stop us from doing what we want. We cannot stop them yet. We can kill reptilians. We can kill greys. We had a couple major battles with them already. And these UFO people don't even want to go there yet. They don't even want to know that. They want to just know that a Tic Tac's a real ship flying around the planet. All right. And then Richard Dolan came out and says, well, we need to know who they are and why. Really? We should have been asking that 50 years ago when they flew over the White House. All right. Here's the thing. I'm into this because I have to be. If you want to get involved with this, I got a book. It's How to See a UFO Field Manual. It's a PDF file. I'm not even charging money for it. I'll send you it if you're interested. I promise you, if you read it, you'll go out and see a UFO in a short period of time. There's little things you can do to make it happen. One of them is spend enough time outside to look at the sky. All right. And be willing. But don't open yourself up to everything because, people get abducted. People get taken. Some people that get taken don't come back. So it's not a pleasurable thing. You might say, oh, I just want to. Like all these people that want to go to the moon for a honeymoon or for a vacation or for see the earth from space. Well, that's their choice. I mean, I guess they're pretty bored with what's going on here and get away from it, but it's only for what, a couple days? And these people that want to say, well, I want to go to Mars and live there. Really? You think the rivers, the ocean, the lakes, the food is all better than here? The best food you could get on this planet is in New York City. Seriously. Nowhere else. I went to many states and islands, and nobody has the same quality as food as New York City does. Jersey as well, because they get all the same companies to go back and forth. But, when you go to California, when you go to Oregon and all these other places, the food's second rate. They don't have top quality because they got the best cooks and the best chefs, whatever word you want to use, in the East Coast, in New York and New Jersey. And then they spread out. And you think the world would be having better food everywhere. Other countries, it's worse. They got no good food. Might taste good. Taste doesn't mean it's good at any level. I mean, as far as, I don't want to get into food, but basically, aliens are here for food. Do you realize that? They need food. Everything that has a body and is alive and can think in some form needs food. And then you should think of every creature on this planet, what they eat and how they eat it and why. Because they need it to live. So aliens are no different, no matter how big they are, how small they are, or where they come from. They all need food. And people don't ask their friendly aliens what their favorite food is. I guess they're afraid to. Well, I'm just seeing if I think you're good enough to eat. They don't want to hear something like that. Phil Snyder, one of the most important second most important UFO story in our history, and Roswell wasn't the most important story. Sorry, it wasn't. But okay, when Phil Snyder was taken down into that base and 67 Marines were killed, and then they saw thousands and thousands of skeletons laying there, they realized Greys did eat humans. All right. So people, are you ready for that? You think the government's going to come out and tell you that next week? Well, by June? Really? They're going to say that they allowed the government allowed them to take 10,000 people a year, which they couldn't count, the same as a dolphin boat or a whale boat. Well, you're only allowed to kill 10,000 dolphins or 10,000 whales. Who counts them? Japanese has a canning boat that cans the whales as they keep pulling them in. We're in a pathetic time, and people really don't care. And I'm going to say this. I don't consider myself spiritual. I'm on a spiritual path. I understand, and I work towards spiritualism. When I become spiritual, I will be gone. I won't be living in hell. And the difference between heaven and hell has the perversions of the mind. Lust, greed, anger, vanity, and attachment. I break it down to sex, drugs, drinking, party, cheap drills, sports, all the things that keep mankind here and think it's important. All right. So where do you want to go in your life? What do you want to do? Become rich, buy a nice house, and all those things. It has nothing to do with spirituality. Praying to what? What are you praying to? Yourself? Oh, save the world. You're not saving the world. You can't. Nobody can. The Dalai Lama, Buddha, all these people. I mean, these famous spiritual people that came out, what did they do for the world? Gave a couple more people a new idea to think about and believe in. Jesus is not going to come back here. There's no reason for him to do that. They would kill him again if he did. You understand that? People on this planet kill anybody spiritual. Even Gandhi was killed by his own people. Check out the people that lived here. I mean, unless you're talking about somebody like Miller Reaper, read his story. All right. And then, like Dante's Inferno, and he talks about hell. Well, this is hell, because he talks about the levels of hell: freezing, burning. Well, all those things you experience here. Soul can't experience that. You can't burn a soul. You can't freeze a soul. You can freeze a body, but you can't freeze a soul within it. So it's time to wake up, people. It's time for you to really think about what's important to you when you leave this planet, leave it when you die, what's going to happen when you reincarnate. Most people are going to reincarnate whether you want to or not. It's not a free choice. People say, I'm going to come back as... No, you're not. Your karma determines what you can come back as. If you have no karma and you do come back, you got much more chances of picking out where and when and things like that. But the idea of being superpowered or any of those other words, no. The spiritual gifts were taken away from us. We had them, and when they were taken away, all the 32 psychic abilities that exist from the Esther plane were taken away. Healers that say they are a healer have about 1%, 2% of that ability of healing. They can't heal the dead. They can't bring them back. They can't do any of the important things. And all they do is brainwash a person to believe that they're healing them. Every person has that ability, and it's just magnified by somebody convincing them that they believe in this other person that they can get healed. I did it for myself many times. I can go into those stories. For real. I had peptic ulcers, and they were going to cut my stomach out. And I said, God, I'm not going to live here if you're going to make me suffer like that. And they were healed the next day. I broke my ankle, and I stuck it in ice, and I said, I got to heal this. And I pulled it out. My foot was fine. I mean, there's things that we can do if that's what we want. I'm no longer worried about healing myself. I mean, I'm taking vitamins, I'm doing things, but I live on sugar. So contradictory in one way. But I got to live in the best I can to feel the best I can without hurting other people. And if everybody thought the same way, they could smoke, drink, do whatever they want. But if they hurt their child, their mother, their wife, their friends, they're doing something very karma-istic, meaning they create so much karma that they're not going to pay back in this lifetime. All right, killing, murder, and rape, and all those words, forget it. You're not going to pay back that karma. I'm going to say a famous name because I met with him. I had lunch with him. Danny Brinkley. He wrote Saved by the Light. I challenged him to his face. I didn't do it make-believe. I went to him. We sat down at dinner table. There was 13 people at the dinner table. I challenged him in front of all those people. And he did the opposite of what I thought he would do. He didn't lie. He told the truth. He said he was a Luciferian from the 1600s, and he has so much karma. He killed 44 people for the government, and he's going to pay the karma, and he's going to reincarnate until he pays it off. And he said that. So, when people face their karma, meaning how much they're going to have to pay or what they're really going to have to do, suddenly you're starting to look for a spiritual path to follow. But as long as you can say, well, this healer healed me of all my karma, or you say you don't have it, like Oprah Winfrey. I've been trying to talk to her for 23 years, roughly, or even more. Never got a reply or a smidgen of anything from her. I mean, I actually got one from somebody else, Dr. Phil. I could have been on his show, but no, I wanted to be on Oprah's show, or at least talk. I don't care, live or not. She was in Hawaii. I missed her by about 5 minutes. She went into the store where I was next to in the temple. So again, people that say they have no karma and no ego, like Oprah, really? Listen to what Jesus said about karma. Karma will always be with us. We either create it or get rid of it. You got a choice. Always do. Wrong thinking? If you rewrite the thinking inside your brain, it's not karma. But when you do it or create it, it's karma. So with that, people, please send this link to everybody you know. I'm open for chat, debate. Come on Skype, Hawksblood11. I'd love to talk, or rather talk than type. I got problems with writing, spelling, and all those things. So it was hard for me to write because people couldn't even translate what I wrote. But again, if you want the truth, I'll give you what I know is the truth. And if you bring it into your reality, you'll find out how true it is or not. And I promise you, what I give you isn't going to hurt you. Not like all these other people. Take you to Mars, take you to Venus, take you where? To do what? If you don't want to know what God is, you don't need to know what anything else is, because everything else is just going to come and go in your life, in your reality, in your next lives, or whatever. So with that, people, enjoy your day. Hope it's everything you want it to be. Do the best you can. Be the best you can. And you are the best you can. Don't let people say, well, you're going to tune into your higher self. You are that. You always are. It's just where you want to place your attention. If it's on money, you'll get money. If it's on love, you'll find it, but probably not the best love. Because love is only delusional in this reality. There's only one love that exists, and that's the love of God, if you know what that is. Love of people comes and goes. I mean, most people fall out of love within 6 to 10 years, 20 years. Love is forever when you experience it. All right, people. Till next time, you heard it here. And I'm open for a debate to anybody on this planet that says they're spiritual, religious, whatever words they want to call themselves, on their truth, because their truth is a bunch of bull 90% of the time. The little truth that they have is they're not giving it out. All right, I can go on, but our time's kind of running short today. I kept it a little bit longer today because Tina came on and stayed a little bit longer. Peace, compassion, whatever you need in your life. Till next time. Over and out.